Good evening, traders. This is Trader Tim from eMoneyMind.com. This is July 13th, Thursday, 2017, and I wanted to do a recap for what's been a great week of trading. Earlier in the week, kind of before we started, my sentiment was that yes, we've seen some selling, but there really hasn't been any follow through. Every opportunity for the bears to take the market lower has been met with bulls buying it and pushing the market higher. We broke the short 50% retracement, and we have moved higher and are starting to inch closer to the new high on the ES, the all-time high on the E-mini S&P. So we'll see. We may not break it tomorrow, but going into next week, I want to see, will we break or will we come very close and then be met with selling? Will we break by a couple of ticks and then immediately be met with selling? Or will we break through and continue on? And that will be kind of a determining factor of, um, is there some substance to the move? So I wanted to go through a couple of trades from the week. Tuesday in the live room, we caught a couple of really good moves. Market sold off a little bit in the morning, and I like to wait the first 15 minutes out, not taking any trades on the 512 tick chart because sometimes you get these reversals or you can get a lot of noise, just choppiness back and forth. So I give it 15 minutes, and the first setup that we had was a long. We broke the previous swing high by this high over here. We pulled back. It was a little dirty. I always use a 6-tick stop on the ES, so it wasn't a big deal, even though we traded through the 50. Kept us in the trade, and then moved higher from there, and then you can just trail swing lows on the way up. Once we got to highs, we have a situation where the NYSE tick formed a new high, formed a high tick at highs. And when that happens, we could potentially have the high of the day. And so we got a high tick that formed at highs. We came down and broke the previous swing low, and that set up again, 6-tick stop. The trade was a little bit dirty, meaning it kind of chopped around the entry, went beyond the 60-18 a little bit, but no big deal again because 6 ticks keeping us in the trade. And after that, the market sold off heavily, and just by trailing each swing high, just a huge move off of a great entry. Once we got down to lows, the afternoon or the mid morning, it just kept getting better. We formed a low ticket lows, and so drawing up from lows to the next swing high, we ended up pulling back exactly to the 50, nice and clean, trading up to the target. And again, rather than constantly getting in and getting out, if you want to stay in the trade a little bit longer. If you have one contract, it's very good practice to get out at the target. But if you have two contracts, you can take one off at the negative 23% target and then trail every single swing low on the way up. That way you don't have to be taking every one of these smaller setups on the way up. You can simply trail each swing low, and then that took us quite a ways all the way up here to before the market broke that swing low. And once that broke, set up again in a short, traded right to the 50, and started moving down, and then into more of the lunchtime lulls. So really great day of trading on Tuesday. Lots of good moves back and forth in both directions. If we move over to today, again, I like to wait for the first 15 minutes of trade to occur. You can start drawing up the setups right off the open and following along. This nice little long setup. I didn't take it because it was before the 15 minutes after the open. So came down here. The market held around the 50, chopped around, broke out a tiny bit, and then came down and broke the 61.8. So at that point, my first trade of the day was taking from highs to lows. And we've got a odd number in 2443.63. So just rounding down and adding a tick to 43.25s gets you in the trade. You can then start trailing swing highs on the way down. Now in this trade, we ended up this morning with a low tick that ended up corresponding with the low price. So in addition to that being a potential the potential low for the morning, you can use that as an exit point. If you're, the same concept applies. If you're already in a trade and you get a low tick, a low nicey tick that lines up with low price, you can use that to close out the trade. So that's what I did. And the same concept goes for if we get a high tick at a high price, if the two line up exactly at the same time, that could potentially be the high of the day. So if you're in a trade, you can use that to close out the trade. At that point, same thing as on Tuesday. You can draw from lows to highs, and this one was a little bit dirty again, but 6 ticks, keeping you in the trade. It's an even 24, 40, 50, so you can just round up to 75s. And then just trailing swings on the way up. If you got 2 contracts going, you can take the first one off at the negative 23, and then every time we pull back, make a new high, you can move your stop from the previous swing low up underneath the current swing low, keep trailing swing lows, and then that took us all the way up here, and then that was pretty much the first couple hours of the day, and that's when I usually close down for the morning. Had some more setups going later in the day. It's really been a great market environment for retracements and lots of good intraday setups on the 512 tick chart. So that's kind of a little recap of a couple of the days this week. As we head into next week, I'll be looking for this high, 24.47.50s, to be broken. We're very close. We touched 47s. So if we can break that tomorrow and then break this 24.51.50s, we should have a lot of open space above us to take us to the target 24.75s. If you want to join in the live trading session next week on Tuesday, you can check that out, emoneymind.com/VIP. And I hope you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.